Today is the feast of St. John the Baptist. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. When the time arrived for Elizabeth to have her child, she gave birth to a son. Her neighbors and relatives heard that the Lord had shown great mercy toward her, and they rejoiced with her. When they came on the 8th day to circumcise the child, they were going to call him Zechariah after his father. But his mother said in reply, "No, he will be called John." But they answered her, "There is no one among your relatives who has this name." So they made signs asking his father what he wished him to be called. He asked for a tablet and wrote John as his name, and all were amazed. Immediately his mouth was opened, his tongue freed, and he spoke blessing God. Then fear came upon all their neighbors, and all these matters were discussed throughout the hill country of Judea. All who heard these things took them to heart, saying, "What then will this child be? For surely the hand of the Lord was with him." The child grew and became strong in spirit, and he was in the desert until the day of his manifestation to Israel. My sisters and brothers, the gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Today is the feast of St. John the Baptist, and I had two really quick thoughts. One, we see that when Zechariah is faithful to the Lord, he finds great freedom. And in that is a message to us. We don't always know what it means to be faithful, but when we strive to be faithful and accomplish God's will, we are made free. We see that very clearly in this gospel. But I think the other thing that's maybe more important for us on this feast is St. John the Baptist is the one who points to Jesus. And at some level, this is what we're all called to do. We're all called to stand back and say, here's where you find Jesus. We might do that by saying, you find him in the scriptures. You find him, of course, in the Eucharist. You find him when we're in church together singing, and well, not singing now, but singing and responding as the people of God. But we also find Jesus when we encounter love and mercy. And sometimes we're shy about that, but that is the Lord too. St. John points to Jesus all the time. Our vocation is to do the same for our culture today, to point to those places where we find the Lord, where there's joy, where there's hope, where there's life, where there's mercy, so that others can see God. God is present among us. On this feast, let us ask God for the grace to recognize Jesus and to point to him so that others may find him too. God bless.